Hey, what is up guys? This is Zach, and a while ago I had the S7 and the S7 Edge in my possession. But a lot of things passed, finals came, I started rowing and ran out of time to basically review the product. So now that I have more time, school is over, we're going to be doing a lot more reviews, and therefore this is my review of the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge 3 months later. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, one of the main things that I really enjoyed when using and holding this phone and really just getting to know it by its experience is the design. So feeling it in the hand and holding it is really nice. The phone has a really nice curved glass design with a metal body, and the phone is a pleasure to hold in the hand. A lot of people say it feels slippery, but I don't really know about that. I'd have to disagree. In my opinion, the phone feels really sleek and it's like a piece of art. It's the kind of device that I like to keep flipping over and over, back to front and over again in my hands. And the design actually kind of reminds me of the Apple Watch because of its curved glass, and I can't stress how nice it feels to have it in your hand and just hold it and use it. Now, getting further into the experience and the software, battery life, all that stuff, the experience is really good with this phone, and you're not going to hear this from many other people, but I would say that this phone is one of the best Android phones out there, not because it has the best specs or not because it's the cheapest, but because it's the easiest to use, it's really simple, it's fast, and it works, which if you know me, that is the biggest thing that I like. If a phone works consistently, that's all I care about. I found that whenever I needed to do something on the phone, I could get to it quickly, and it would work right away, and to be honest, that's not really what I was expecting with this phone. The last time I used a Samsung phone was with the Galaxy S4, and it was kind of a struggle to get around in that phone and get what you needed done. This is not the case with this phone. I've slowly observed that the iPhone is the ideal phone that people look for in a smartphone, and so other companies will often try and get their phone to match the iPhone specs, which is not a bad thing at all. But this phone feels a little bit faster between tasks than my iPhone 6s Plus, and the buttons on the phone also feel really great, even though they have a pretty small space on the sides of the edges. They are also super clicky and just feel right when using them. The home button is a bit recessed compared to the Galaxy S6, but that's not a problem at all in my opinion. I also didn't have any problems with the fingerprint sensor and would say it was just as fast in daily use as my 6s Plus, but sometimes it will say no match if you don't leave your finger on the button for long enough. It's still better than the S5 and S6 though. Also, the back and multitasking buttons are apparently switched, but I don't even have those buttons on my 6s Plus, so I don't actually care. So something that a lot of people made a big deal about in this phone would be the camera, and it's really, really good. I'm used to the iPhone 6s Plus for shooting, and then also my big camera, which is the Lumix G7. I do a lot of photography, and I would say I wasn't expecting the camera to be as good as it actually was on this phone, especially because the last time I used a camera on a Samsung phone was the S6, the S5, and the S4, not the S6 much, and the S5 isn't that great. Now, majority of the reason that I have an iPhone is because it can take really good pictures, and that's the original reason that I switched to my 6. It sounds stupid, but makes sense. So when I got this phone in, I was pleasantly surprised. Photos are fast to be taken, clear as day, and have a lot of dynamic range. And the autofocus is outstanding. It's actually like freaky fast. Now, I'm no camera expert when it comes to photos, but when I blew them up on my 4K monitor, they looked amazing. I'm more into warm tones with photos, and Samsung has definitely delivered. Here's some photos side by side from my 6s Plus and the S7 Edge, and you can see the difference between the two. One is just a bit more full of color, which is the Samsung. Overall, it's a really nice camera and a pleasure to use. Now, moving on to battery life, this camera has really good battery life. See, I wake up at 6:30, go to bed 9:30 or 10, and really don't get to plug in any time between that. And by the end of the day, although I am in school a lot, the phone is at 20%, whereas my iPhone sometimes is all the way dead or really close to being dead. So the battery life is really good. The S7 Edge also has a micro SD card slot, but I don't know if I would load a lot of media onto my phone, making 32 gigs pretty adequate for me, but the option is always welcome. And so that's pretty much it. A simple review giving you an overview of the best things on this phone and the things that make this phone really good and worth it. I would say that if you can't stand TouchWiz but really like this phone, check out the Nexus 6P, as it's the most stock phone you can get out there and it feels really nice in the hand. And if you are enjoying this phone, let me know down below, as it's a really good phone and I enjoyed it in my time. I would say that it's one of the best Android phones out there with its beautiful design, really fast OS, less bloated software, and last but not least, that stellar shooting camera. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video or vlog. See you later. Peace.